Life in prison is a punishment that most of us can only imagine. The thought of spending every moment of the rest of your life confined to a space can be terrifying. For some, however, this is a reality they have to face every day. In this video, we'll hear from 5 prisoners who have been sentenced to life in prison. These inmates have all been convicted of serious crimes and will never have the opportunity to be released. They each have their own unique story and reasons for ending up behind bars for life. We'll be diving deep into their emotions, thoughts, and reflections on their experiences serving a life sentence. Join us as we take a glimpse into the lives of these prisoners and see how they cope with the reality of never being able to walk free again. From remorseful reflections to anger and acceptance, this video will offer a rare and raw perspective on the lives of those who have been condemned to spend the rest of their days in prison. Number 1. Joseph McAlpin. Joseph McAlpin, a Cleveland man who has been sentenced to death row. McAlpin, who is just 32 years old, was found guilty of several charges, including aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, aggravated burglary, kidnapping, grand theft, and cruelty to animals. Details of the case. Last month, McAlpin was found guilty by a Cuyahoga County jury, and last week, the same jury recommended the death penalty, which the judge upheld. The Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office has stated that McAlpin, along with 2 co-defendants, went to Mr. Carr's in the Collinwood neighborhood of Cleveland on April 14, 2017, with the intention of stealing vehicles. While the other 2 men waited down the street, McAlpin shot and killed Michael Kuznick, 50, and Trina Tomolo Kuznick, 46. He's also accused of killing the family dog before the group stole 2 cars from the lot. The couple's 19-year-old son discovered their bodies inside the family-owned business. Reaction from the victim's family. The family of Michael and Trina have expressed relief that justice has been served. The couple's son, who discovered their bodies, stated that he was grateful for the support of the community during the trial and that he hoped that the sentence would bring closure to their family. The family also expressed their appreciation for the hard work of the prosecutors and the law enforcement officers who worked on the case. Number 2. Derek Romano. Derek Romano, a man who is already serving a 55-year sentence for the slaying of a pizza delivery driver in 2014, but will now spend an additional 17 years behind bars for taking the life of his cellmate. Romano was serving his sentence at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility in Indiana when he requested to become cellmates with Jeremiah Roberts, who was serving a 68-year sentence. The 2 shared a living space since September 2019 until May 3, 2020, when Roberts was found lifeless in his bunk. According to court documents, Romano told investigators that the 2 were drinking homemade wine the night before and had an argument over stupid stuff. He then lost control, beating Roberts to death with his hands and feet, causing severe injuries to his head and neck. Blood was found splattered throughout the cell, and Romano had blood and bruising on his feet. After the incident, Romano left notes on the wall of the cell. One of the notes read, "Time of death, 10:30 p.m." and another said, "Pray for the man who died here, for he lived and died a better man than me." In exchange for dismissing the slaying charge, Romano pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter in Robert's slaying, which means that he acknowledged that he intentionally caused Robert's death but did not plan it in advance. Number 3. Stephen Sanderson and Deshaun Madden. Stephen Sanderson and Deshaun Madden, 2 inmates who have made headlines for their actions in prison. First, let's talk about Stephen Sanderson. Some people have called him a hero for slaying his child molester prison cellmate. However, Sanderson has made it clear that he does not see himself as a hero. In fact, he said in court that he didn't judge his cellmate as he believes that only God is the judge. Sanderson is already serving life without parole for slaying his girlfriend in 1991. In February of this year, he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for slaying his cellmate, 67-year-old Dyer, who was serving a 25-year minimum sentence for first-degree criminal physical conduct against someone under the age of 13. Sanderson claims that he confronted Dyer about his conviction, and that Dyer began assaulting him after he wouldn't stop trying to deny or justify it. Sanderson knocked Dyer unconscious, and then used his shoelaces to strangle him. Now, let's turn to Deshaun Madden, an Alger County inmate who was found guilty of slaying his cellmate, Rodriguez Montez Burks. Madden has been sentenced to a minimum of 60 years and a maximum of 90 years for second-degree murder. This sentence is to be served consecutively, with his current term of a minimum of 16 years and a maximum of 30 years for the attack with the intent to commit slaying, robbery, and carjacking. Madden was found guilty by a 12-person jury after a 5-day trial in April. Officials found Burke lifeless and wrapped in blankets in their cell at the Alger Correctional Facility. The autopsy report revealed that Burks passed away from a closed head injury. The prosecution argued that if both inmates were begging to move, the jail staff would have separated the two cellmates. However, the officers and inmates that testified had different viewpoints on the relationship between Burks and Madden. The defense argued that Madden had no intent to slay Burks and that it was a fight gone wrong. Number 4. Stephen Sanderson. Sanderson made headlines after he killed his cellmate, who was a convicted child molester. Some people hailed Sanderson as a hero, while others criticized him for taking the law into his own hands. Stephen D. Sanderson is a 51-year-old man who was already serving life without parole for killing his girlfriend back in 1991. In February 2021, Sanderson pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for killing his cellmate, 67-year-old Theodore Dyer. Dyer was serving a 25-year minimum sentence for first-degree criminal sexual conduct against a minor. In court, Sanderson explained that he killed Dyer because he confronted him about his conviction, and Dyer would not stop trying to deny it or justify it. Sanderson knocked Dyer unconscious and then used his shoelace to strangle him. Sanderson told police that he was trying to justify why he did it, and he just told Dyer to be quiet and leave in the morning to find a new cell. Sanderson said that Dyer continued to talk about his crime and tried to justify it, so he hit him in the face and then wrapped a cord around his neck and took his life. In court, Sanderson laid out his rationale for the slaying, stating that he didn't judge Dyer and that he only knew God could judge someone. Sanderson said he just set the appointment up, and he did what he thought was best at the time he was given. Sanderson said he received emails from people who criticized his actions, but he was unapologetic about what he did. Number 5. Jamie Osuna. Jamie Osuna, a convicted killer who was found incompetent to stand trial for the murder of his cellmate. Osuna gained notoriety for his gruesome acts of violence, including the slaying and torture of Yvette Pina in a Bakersfield motel in 2011. His latest victim, Luis Romero, was a fellow inmate who was placed in Osuna's cell after arriving from Mule Creek State Prison. Romero had spent 27 years in prison after being convicted of second-degree murder for fatally shooting a woman in Compton when he was a teenager. On the night of March 9, 2019, Osuna used a makeshift knife to decapitate and dissect Romero, removing an eye, a finger, and a portion of his lung, slicing Romero's face open on either side of his mouth to resemble an extended smile. Guards found Osuna wearing a necklace made of Romero's body parts. The case is made even more disturbing by the fact that Osuna was found incompetent to stand trial for Romero's murder. 2 psychiatrists testified that Osuna did not understand the criminal proceedings against him and could not assist his legal team in the preparation of a defense. Criminal proceedings were suspended until Osuna, who is now 32 years old, is restored to competency. This has sparked controversy and raised questions about the justice system's handling of violent criminals. The judge in the case, Kings County Judge Randy Edwards, made the findings after listening to testimony from 2 psychiatrists who determined Osuna did not understand the criminal proceedings against him. Osuna's history of violence and association with satanic rituals has made him a dark figure in the public eye. He has face tattoos and a flair for Charles Manson-like satanic antics, and during his 2017 trial, he mocked the victim's family and bragged to a television news reporter about his love for torturing people. The family of Romero has filed a lawsuit questioning why Romero was placed in a cell with Osuna, a convicted killer with a history of attacking his cellmates. The Department of Corrections disputed the findings of the reports, saying in a statement that it had conducted a thorough and complete investigation from the very beginning. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. Let us know in the comments what other topics you'd like to see us cover. Until next time, take care.